Hey guys, Monkey here. Sorry that's been a little bit. I've had a lot of schoolwork to catch up on, but since today is a 3-day weekend, with Memorial Day being a day off for at least most people, I'm here today to review Transformers Age of the Primes. Age of the Primes, Prima Prime. And actually, I just forgot something. I need to go grab his box, so give me just a second. Okay, I got it. Sorry about that. I should have had that on hand, ready to go, but I completely forgot to grab it. But yeah, before we get into the figure, I should go into the box first. This is Prime's box with the golden lettering for his name and his Prime sigil, along with Transformers, Age of the Primes, 20 steps, Autobot, and just robot to vehicle, vehicle to robot, 8+, and his alt mode, robot mode, camera keeps shaking, knock that off, and his accessories, 1, 2, and 3. On the side, we have the mural with Prime 1, 2, 3, then 4 with Solus, 5, 6, etc., etc. On the back, we have the Star Saber, his alt mode, once again, Prima holding the Star Saber, his gimmick with the Matrix, his name once again. On the top, got the same. On the back, once again, 20 steps. More than meets the eye, authentic. And I believe that's the batch number, 50181. On the side, you have Age of the Primes, his picture. On the bottom, bunch of text. And yeah. Alrighty. Now, back to the figure. The main reason why you are here on today's video. So, for the Primes, I wanted to make a completely separate playlist from the Age of the Primes figures. So if Age of the Primes, you have all the other guys, but for the Primes, I want to have them in their own playlist in order. So when I make videos on them, for example, Prima will be number 1, Vector will be number 2, but then Solus will be number 4, since, they haven't made the Alphatron figure just yet. And for example, Megatronus here will be number 12. So each video will be marked as their order, what prime they are. We have 1, 2, 4, 12. That's just what's currently available. Except for if you're in Canada. If you're in Canada, you have access to Alchemist. And one second, I think I have it in here. I have parts of the... never mind. That's in the other box. I believe Alchemist is the 6th prime, with my Cronus being the 5th. So yeah, with that being said, that's the plan for the playlist. I won't include them in the Age of the Primes playlist. They'll be in their own. So yeah, if you're wondering why, for example, once I get into reviewing other figures like, where is he? There he is. Air Raid or Waspinator down there, then yeah, that's why. And it's also because most of the figures I have for Age of the Primes are just the Primes. Vector Prime, additionally, because he's being re-released in Age of the Primes. And also just because he's also been released already in United. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into the video. Prima here has 3 accessories, 2 of which being compatible with the alt mode. They're all compatible with the alt mode, but we have the hilt that can't really go anywhere besides on the ports. I like to imagine it as like a side cannon, so yeah. And then we have a sword that plugs into the back right here. If you can see that, there's a little gray port inside there that plugs into the 3mm hole right here that you can plug in. And it's meant to be in there, which is why it's staying. And that's supposed to represent like a blue blur kind of coming out of him, So yeah, he also rolls extremely well because the first 2 wheels are pinned, with the other 2 on kind of like a clip mechanism. One second, if I can pull them out, I'll show you. Let's see, can I pull them out? Oh man, I almost dropped it. With them being attached like this, with just them being raised a little bit. So yeah, let's put that back in. as you can see, it rolls really well. So yeah. That might also be because he's just on cloth. So give me just a second. Let's lift up that. Oh yeah, he rolls well on hard surfaces. Alrighty. Just gotta reapply. There we go. Also, yes, that's how I do my table cover. I just layer the shirts upon each other. I only have two, but, you know, yeah. Now, back to the figure. The alt mode is honestly really nice. It reminds me of the Lunar Cruiser Optimus Prime from a little bit ago. In more shape-wise, it's clearly not a Lunar Cruiser, but it really reminds me of it, just with the bulkiness, the shape, and just how dense this is. Like, this is holding up really well. So, yeah. Sorry, I just love spinning the wheels. If you flip to the underside, you see Prima's head right there, you know. Oh. On the side, let's go to the other side. On the side, you have a lot of this mechanical detailing with, like, little pistons, panels. Then, obviously, the hubcaps of the wheels and just the wheels overall look really nice. The window is really cool, too, actually. I love how this looks. It's a nice trans blue. It's being used as part of the structure, but it's also being reinforced with actual just solid plastic, which I love. I always prefer if clear plastic is like a clear insert, but I won't complain if it's used like this either, because at least it's being reinforced instead of just being by itself. Because if the clear plastic's being used just as the structure, then that could be very bad. But if it's being reinforced with something, it's a little better, but this is best if it's just an insert. But yeah, the front of the vehicle mode is very nice. You could actually plug this piece into the front, just like that. Again, I'm not too sure why you could do that, but, you know, it's there. I think, yeah, it can go in like that too. I'm just going to take that. I'm going to take these off for now. We'll do that when we compare the Prime artifacts. From the top, looks really nice. The shins and ankles and just the entire front leg, calf, knees, shins, all of that looks really nice up here. And I'll talk more about that when we get into robot mode. So, yeah. With that being said, first I'll put that together. We'll go over that in just a little bit. Now let's get the primes in here. I'm going to take off the flame effects on Megatronus, just so he fits a little better. So, for our deluxe class, we got Solus Prime, Voyager class, Vector Prime, almost called him G-Axis. Same mold, or similar molds, but not the same figure. And finally, Leader class with Megatronus. These guys look amazing. One second. Sorry, if it just cut randomly, I had to blow my nose. I apologize. But, yeah. That's all of the main primes. You know, we could get Optimus in here, as he's technically the 13th. But since I don't have Star Convoy, I'm not doing that. Also because Star Convoy isn't out yet. So, yeah. They revealed Star Convoy really early for his pre-order date. Because he's supposed to be coming out like November, August. And his pre-order's been up since, I want to say, April? So he's been out for a while. Actually, let's get these two back in here, because we got a few more size comparisons. For a core class, we have Wheelie, you know, this little goober. And for Commander class, actually, I might have to take the others out. We have Skyfire. So, yeah, for reference, he's fucking huge. He is massive. You know what else is massive? I'm just kidding. But yeah, seriously. This is just our scale. And it is... Honestly, I love how these two look together. They use not the same exact shade of blue for the windows. Skyfire's is just a little darker. But I absolutely love it. They look wonderful together. Now we take that out. We bring this back just for sake of comparison just a little bit. And now we get into the transformation. So yes, grab Prima here. The first thing you want to do is pull out these wheels. Kind of just flip them up for now. You don't really do anything with them just yet. We kind of just wait on that. The next thing you want to do is come to the side of the alt mode. Pull out, oh wait, right, almost forgot. You actually want to come to the grill, flip that up, and flip it down right there. Then you pull the arms out, just like that. Then you want to flip the hand out, collapse the whole thing there, then rotate the whole entire assembly here. And that's one arm. Do the same thing for the other side. Rotate it around. Make sure you untap, I'm sorry, am I not getting this on camera? Make sure you untap the shoulders as well while you're doing this, or these parts will clash with these. But yeah, you want to untap the shoulders as well. The next thing you want to do is pull Prima's head out just a little bit, flip down this entire assembly right here. Then you want to push this section forward, then flip out the entire leg assembly, just like that. You want to flip out the feet from their tabs right here, and then collapse all of this in here. These tabs were reinforced right here, but then these will also go into this slot right, let me get the Star Saber, right there, right where it's pointing. So yeah, oh, did not mean to shake the camera again, sorry. Then you could either unclip, or you can also slide it out. So yeah. Then your next step after that is to first of all bring this back a little bit, pull this up, but then you want to rotate this whole assembly like that. Straighten out the head. Make sure this assembly is tabbed back in. Then flip in the wheels right here and here. Sorry, I'm not showing that too great. There you go, right there. Then you want to pull down the assembly, straighten the arms out a little bit, right there and there, and then tab them into the shoulders. Now, you might be wondering how that works. There's two gray tabs, one right there and one right there, and they go into two slots right there and there. And you just want to collapse. Oh. There we go. Collapse it all in right there. Then you want to, actually one second, I need to get that out. Got it. We need to get the matrix out, because we need to attach that to the Star Saber. Alright. And just like that, we got Prima. Now I gotta transform all the other guys. So I'll be back with you in just a while. Alright, I'm back. I had to do a lot more stuff between all that, so it took me a little longer than the usual 10 to 20 minutes. In reality, it took me about 45 minutes now. But yeah, before we go into the absolute beautiful sculpting of this figure, we would need to go into size comparisons. So that's what we're going to be doing. So, let's angle the camera a little bit. Lower. That should do just fine. Okay, for Deluxe Class, Age of the Primes, Soulless Prime. If she doesn't want to fall. There you go. 86 Wheelie. Nope. Legacy United Vector Prime. Being slightly taller. Lovely. Leader Class Megatronus. We'll probably put him over here. And finally, if his legs want to go straight, there you go. Commander Class Skyfire. There you go. And that's our size comparisons. So we're just going to grab him, grab him, grab him, grab him, and grab her. Alrighty. Before we go into more of him, we need to go into comparisons with the accessories and just the accessories overall. So we'll go over the Star Saber and its pieces first, before we go into the rest of the artifacts. So the Star Saber is comprised of 3 pieces. The Star Saber also has Prima's logo right there at the bottom, at the very bottom of this piece right here. Painted on in this darker shade of silver, more like a gunmetal gray upon this bluish silver paint. On the hilts, it's using the same plastic that's used throughout the rest of the body, except for the face. The face is kind of washed out. I'll go over that when I go over him, though. The detail and sculpting on the blade, though, is really nice. And I... Excuse me, sorry. Jesus, that hurt. Okay, but like I was saying, this is the sculpting of the blade and just the details on it. It looks really nice. And actually, the sculpting on the sword, too, is really nice, too. Probably should have gone over that. It's just really well made, and I love it. The handle does this weird thing where it goes from a 5mm to, I want to say, a 4mm, then a 3mm ports. So, 5mm for our usual hands, 3mm for attachments of 3mm objects. Then I don't know why the 4mm. I think that, the 4mm is for the hole right here, yeah. Yep. Yeah, say 4mm ports, or 4mm pegs and ports are just something I don't see too often in Transformers. So yeah, that caught me off guard, I won't lie. And finally, for his final accessory, a silver matrix of leadership. And I absolutely love it, because I'm just a sucker for the color silver and blue. The original Matrix with the gold and bronze-ish colors was already pretty good, and I liked it for that. But I love this. I absolutely love the silver Matrix. This just looks amazing to me. So yeah. And it attaches right there. Flip that around. But yeah, these are Prima's artifacts, the Star Saber and the Matrix of Leadership. With that being said, though, now we go into the other Prime's accessories for comparisons. We have Vector Prime's sword. Cannot for the life of me remember the name of this thing, but basically it can cut rifts into time and space itself, which is how he uses his ability. And the other artifact being Cyber Planet Key, which is already really nice. I much prefer Prima's sword over Vector's, though. Both are really well made, though, and I love the little details and engravings on it. It really does look beautiful, but I just prefer Prima's overall. Though I do like the different colored hilt, though I'm not sure why it bends. I don't really bend my swords at the hilt and at the handle. This is a handle, I keep forgetting. But yeah, you also have a V on Vector's sword, mainly just continuing the V that goes onto the sword. So yeah. Then we compare the Forge of Soulless Prime right here with her little grenade for some reason. I just almost forgot. Vector Prime's sword does not include any sigil for him. You have Megatronus's sigil, Solus's sigil, and Prima's sigil. I know that Vector Prime came before the Age of the Primes line was even a concept, but I do feel like they should have printed that on his sword, or engraved it on his sword in any way. Which is something I'm hoping the new one does. I also hope the new one fixes the tolerances, All it takes is me shaking him. Give it a moment. Yep, there you go. So yeah. But comparing these two together, it's honestly kind of not fair considering how how different each of these weapons are. We have Vector Prime's sword, Prima Prime's sword, the Star Saber. God, I'm stuttering and coughing. That's lovely. We have Prima's sword here, compared to Solus's hammer. And these are two completely different weapons and just items. So, honestly, I don't know even why I'm comparing these now I'm thinking about it. This is just stupid. I just realized how redundant that is. At all. I'm stopping that. I won't lie. That was kind of dumb. I'll probably do that like for the final Prime or something. Now, to Prima. Prima has a gimmick here where if you open his chest, first of all, beautiful sculpting and detail in there. But, but he has a matrix chamber, which makes sense since he was the very first Prime, the leader, but also the Prime that was first got the matrix of leadership. You know, he was the very first leadership Prime, which is honestly really cool, and I like that. I really do love how that looks, you know? And it makes sense, too, you know? He was the first Prime to ever receive the Matrix, and was just the first Prime overall. Prima Prime. I will say, though, Prima is kind of a dumb name. I'm guessing that the Prime title as a whole came from Prima, since Prima was the first, but it was kind of a stupid title to combine with his name. So, yeah. I mean, I've heard dumber names. You know, in Transformers, we got a guy named Lasercock. So, yeah, I think there's a guy named Ramshaft. You know, like that. There's definitely weirder or lamer names out there. But I honestly think Prima has to be one of the lamest. I mean, it's not a bad name, but when you have Prime right after Prima, it's kind of weird, you know? Very similar sounding. Prima Prime. That's odd. I don't really like the name. And the head, I'm all for the head, actually. I just wish they used a mouth plate on it. You know? I feel like this sculpt would have been a lot better if they used a mouth guard. Or like what Optimus has, and Megatronus. I mean, look at fucking Megatronus. He's over here looking like one of them old-ass furnaces. You know? Look at that. Now that's a mouth guard. Or, this is something I hope Nexus Prime does, you know, the first combiner. I hope he goes the TF1 route with his face. 1 second, I need to get this out. And kind of goes like this. I really hope Nexus Prime goes like that. I haven't gotten a good look at his mural art, and I can't really see his head. But I really hope this is what his face looks like. Maybe not exactly like this, but similar. Because I loved TF1's Nexus Prime's head sculpt. You know how that looked? Excuse me. But that's also got me thinking on, you know, TF1 has to do all the Primes now. Because of that fact. I mean, it's rumored that we're getting Alpha Trion this year. Or maybe it's next year. I think it was next year. But yeah. With that being said, let's go into everything about Prima. Prima has a beautifully just sculpted body overall. You know, we have all these little white highlights over him. Not highlights, but all this white... Why am I keep going to the color? I know. Racism! I'm just kidding. But honestly, I love the colors here. The colors are really nice. The gray, the white, the blues, they look really nice. But what I was trying to say was, I love the sculpting on here. I don't know why I went to highlights. The blue is the highlight. Yeah, I love the sculpting on this guy. It is gorgeous. His chest is sculpted beautifully. You know, this is very clearly inspired by the Aligned Continuities rendition of Prima. You know, it goes with that a lot more knightly look while using the head from G1 Prima, which they have basically confirmed to be him now, since they're using that, the first Prime's, or the first G1 Prime's head sculpt. That's his head. Different colors, but that's his head. So yeah, you know. Oh man. I'm sorry, that's gotta sound really gross for you. I don't know what is going on with my throat right now, but it's burning. But yeah, the head sculpt, since we're already mentioning it, let's go into that. It's honestly pretty nice. I love the silver, the white, but I also mentioned before, I wish I had a face or a mouth guard. mouth plate, one of the two, however you'd call it. I wish that he had one of those. It's not bad, but I would have preferred it. The nose is nice, the eyes are gorgeous, and the mouth is, meh, it's a mouth. Then he has like this little metal goatee going on. The face, though, is kind of weird looking, you know? Like if we go over to Solus Prime's face here, it's very prominent, you know? You can clearly see that it's a face. Vector Prime over here, 1 second. That's clearly a face. Air Raid, since he's already up here. That is clearly a face. But then when you get to Prima, the details are just kind of washed out, you know? And this plastic is different. They use a different plastic from the rest of the body. It feels different on on the face. It feels like a different plastic entirely from the rest of the body. And I don't know why. It just does. And I'm not sure if it's because it's a different plastic or something else, but his face just feels a lot weirder compared to the rest of the body. So yeah. Oh, just broke his back. Yeah, the next thing that we want to go over is his arms. The arm sculpting is honestly wonderful. I love the shoulder detail along with the blue highlights. And underneath the shoulder pad, we have more sculpting here, which is nice. We come down to the forearms, elbows, and all that. More sculpting work, which is lovely. We have a 5mm port on the right around the elbow, and one on the shoulder. Which reminds me, we have two on the back as well, right here and here, and two on the feet, and that's it. So yeah, the arms honestly sculpted really nicely, and they stay together unlike some people's copies. I know that's when some people try to turn the wrist, the arm likes to fall apart. I am turning it by the part that it unhinges at, and it stays together wonderfully. So it might just be a QC problem with some people's figures. Like, yeah, I'm turning it by the part that's supposed to flip out. Like, if I actually, do it, then it will. But when I'm just moving the arm... well, now it's coming out. Yeah, so when I'm turning it by that part, it doesn't come out. It stays in. If I turn it by the wrist, it stays in there. So, yeah. Not too sure why, but some people's copies, when you try to use anything past the forearm, it just doesn't work too well. Or anything past the elbow, this panel right here loves to flip up. So yeah, then down here we have the crotch detail. Honestly, I love this not checkered, but this line pattern that they got going on. Just throughout his body, you know? We got it on the elbows a little bit, on the forearms, or I think that's the forearm. Then on the legs, the knees, as you can see. This is vent-looking detail. I love the blue highlights. The side skirts are wonderful, too. I love that detail. Oh, that reminds me. The side profile on Prima is honestly really nice, too. I love how that looks. Actually, 1 second. Back to the clear plastic thing as well. This piece is an insert, but his shoulders are connected to it with a pin. I'm worried that this will break, and it probably will eventually. It's clear plastic. This stuff is infamous for getting brittle over time. So if you get this guy, be aware that there is a risk of him just breaking because of I haven't read any reports of it breaking or coming broken, but I do feel that it could very easily break if you're not careful. So yeah. One thing that I find really weird about Prima's waist, though, is the fact that when you use the waist swivel, these don't move with it. They're on this piece right here. Which is kind of weird. You know, I don't see too many skirt pieces designed like that. I mean, I'm happy they're here. They look good. But it's also just weird that it's set up like that. The legs are wonderful. You know, they look nice from both the back and front. The rest of it is kind of just this nice sculpting work on the thighs. A deep cut there. I almost thought I got stuff there. or stuff stuck to it. But no, that's just a very deep thigh cut right there. Then the knees down is honestly just where it's all at. I love the sculpt work on the knees and just the legs overall down here. The shins down, basically. I love how it all looks. This is obviously just sculpted beautifully. Like on the side of his thigh, it's this very flat, very plain. But then you get to the rest of the leg, it's like, holy shit, no wonder where all the sculpting went. It's all in the legs. Then when you look at the feet here, it's also just really nice. It's this kind of toe design, which Megatronus also has right here. I'm not sure what's up with the primes, but 2 out of the 4 that are currently out, they got little toes, little digits. So yeah, that's there. Yeah, that's just all the sculpt work. And finally, I'm sorry if this video isn't too good. By the way, I'm trying to get back in the swing of Transformer reviews. So yeah, if it doesn't come out too great, I apologize. But yeah, first entry of Age of the Primes, and it's a Prime. And better yet, the first Prime. Yes, our final point for this video, our articulation. And it's actually really nice here. Head can go all the way up, or it can go up that far, down that far, side to side, and is on a full 360 ball joint. So yeah, you can get the whole range of motion here. And if you use the neck joint, you can get him looking kind of like this. I don't know why you'd want him to look like this, but you can. Arms can go up that far, down that far. The shoulder piece can go up and down like that. There's a 360 swivel at the forearm. No, not the forearm. The bicep. That's what it is. The bicep. There's a past 90-degree bend at the elbow. The forearm doesn't really have any other points besides the elbow. And then the wrist rotates. And hands open. We have opening hands on the figure. That seems to be getting more common, and I'm all for it. You have a 360 rotation at the... That's never happened before. Okay, never mind. You don't have 360. The tab that's used to plug the Star Saber into for alt mode seems to get in the way of that full 360. Just barely, though, which really sucks. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Arms can go full 360 at the shoulder. How could I almost forget such an important range there? Legs can go back that far because of the backpack, and forward that far. Knees can bend back that far. Oh, did not mean to shake the camera. And forward that far, because they can slightly go forward. Now if you straighten out the thighs and straighten out the knees can bend in that far and back that far. And finally, for ankles. Ankles can go back that far, forward that far, and out that far. And that seems to conclude today's video. I apologize if it's not as good as previous videos, or just pretty much any of my videos. I'm still getting used to the whole reviewing Transformers. No, I didn't do a proper review for a while on a Transformer, you know. I did the Black Series Grand Inquisitor. Then before that, I did unboxing videos. So yeah, it's been a while since I've reviewed one of these guys. And I thought it'd be finally time that I do that for you. By the way, this was the guy I was going to do the unboxing on when I mentioned it a little bit ago. I won't lie to you. I opened him before I got a chance to do that. I was really excited when I saw him. He was on my doorstep. I opened the box and just right there, I was like, oh, it's him! It is him! But yeah, with that being said, I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching, and see you later, my monkeys.